So in this problem, the negative 8 is outside the parentheses, and everything else is inside the parentheses, which means that everything else is first in the build steps, because you have to do what's in those parentheses first, and then the negative 8 is like the last thing. Okay, so in the problem we did before, the negative 8 times negative 8 was the first step of the build process, and now the times negative 8 is going to be the last step of the build process. Okay, so let's start with the x and see what is done first. So starting from this x, do you think it's the plus 5, the divide by 2, or the minus 7 that is operating on the x first? What is applying to the x first? Well, the answer is that it's the plus 5. And the reason it's the plus 5 is that the long fraction bar basically means that the x and the plus 5 are in their own little grouping symbol. And you have to do what's in that grouping symbol before you leave that grouping symbol. So it's going to be plus 5 first. Okay, so let's put the plus 5 first. And that's going to make x plus 5. If you just kind of read these two together here, the x and the plus 5, that's going to make x plus 5. Now what's getting done to the x plus 5? Okay, well, with the x and then the plus 5, is the minus 7 applying to that before the 2, or is the 2 applying to it, the divide by 2, before the subtract 7? It's the dividing by 2, because dividing would happen before subtracting. So divide by 2, and then subtracting 7. And then, like I said a minute ago, the times negative 8, because it's outside these parentheses here, the times negative 8 is the very last thing. Okay, now remember, we don't want to just write minus 8. That would be subtracting 8. We have to type times, so use that multiplication symbol, and then negative 8, times negative 8. We can check it, and we got the build phase done. It says it's done, so it was correct. Okay, so now we're going to undo them in the reverse order, like A, B, C, D, we'll go D, C, B, A. So what's the opposite of times negative 8? The opposite of times negative 8, what can undo that is to divide by negative 8. Oops, I have to put that dividing in the denominator. Divide by negative 8. Okay, and so here, these negative 8s will cancel out. Okay, because we're basically taking this expression, I'll put it in orange, that expression there, and we're dividing it by negative 8 and multiplying by negative 8 right after each other. Okay, and that undoes itself. So we'll just have the part that I circled in orange. And I think you should use two colors to kind of show. But if you basically cancel out the negative 8s, whatever's left is your result. So if you just, even if you didn't do the orange part, if you just cancel that out, you can just copy what's here. Okay, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to circle that to show you that's our result. That's going to go over here. Okay, so to make this x plus 5 over 2, you can put the x plus 5, but then you have to highlight it all and press divide to get the 2 to go under all of it. Okay, and then let's see. I'm just gonna, if we get confused, I'm just gonna go back to our list. Okay, we're reading our list kind of backwards, like from the bottom up. Okay, so we did this one. Now we're gonna do this one. The minus 7, we will undo that with a plus 7. Okay, I'm gonna change my color to blue. And the minus 7 and the plus 7 undo each other. Okay, if you're subtracting 7 and then adding 7, it's the same as just subtracting or adding 0, which is like not subtracting or adding anything, which means that this becomes our new expression. X plus 5, if I highlight the whole thing and divide, then I can put the 2 under it. Okay, notice that our problem is getting shorter. It should, when you're undoing it, it should get shorter every step. If it's not getting shorter, then you're not canceling out things that cancel. Okay, all right, so now we are going to cross out those 2's. Okay, because dividing by 2 and then immediately multiplying by 2 are going to undo each other. And then this is what's left, x plus 5. See how it got shorter again? It's becoming much shorter. Okay, and then the opposite of the first build step was plus 5, so the last undo step is minus 5, and these plus 5 and minus 5, adding 5 and subtracting 5 is like adding nothing. It's like adding 0. Okay, so that's just going to be x. And we got our green check, so we got it right.